Hey everyone, welcome back to WizardingAlice. My name is Alice. I apologise if you've been enjoying my Iceland videos. I am taking a little break in between them. We've still got I think 3 more to go the next 3 Sundays, but I wanted to take a break and do a little bit of a Hogwarts Legacy review now that I've put up quite a few videos on Hogwarts Legacy on my channel, and I've got quite a few more coming out as well. I mean, I'm just going to keep posting videos until I get to the end of the game. Anyway, I thought because I'm kind of at a point now, I've been playing for about a month, this would be a really nice time to just sort of sit and reflect, and this is just a really casual chat just to have a little talk about my thoughts and feelings on Hogwarts Legacy and maybe start a bit of a chat in the comments if you have your own thoughts and feelings. I do want to put out a little bit of a disclaimer before I properly start the video. Yes, I'm in my pajamas, and that is because I physically don't have the energy to get changed. I am under the weather right now, to say the least. My throat's also really sore, so I might be talking a little bit quieter and a little bit deeper today. I can only apologise, but these are brand new pajamas, so you know, they're fresh, I promise you. But yeah, without further ado, let's just get into the video. So one thing I want to note is, obviously, like I said before, I've not actually finished the game yet, and that's because I'm really taking my time with it. If I wanted to wait and do a review once I'd finished the entire game, you'd probably get one in about a year's time, to be perfectly honest. So I know, obviously, you might think it makes no sense, she's not even seen a lot of the game. Completely true, maybe I'll do another one when I finish, but I do feel like I've got enough of a sense of the game that I do have quite a good idea of my general thoughts and feelings, and I don't really see those changing. On top of that, I am not a gamer. I actually used to be. I used to be a big gamer when I was like 13, 14, and then just completely stopped playing any game apart from The Sims. So I really do feel like I'm a new gamer because I've not played anything in such a long time. So that's just something to note as well. You know, I'm not going to look into like technical aspects of the game. This is more like a surface level, as a non-gamer, just a Harry Potter fan playing this game, what are my thoughts and feelings on it. Okay, so let's just get into it. I've got my list here of pros and cons. I'm gonna kind of do like a pro and then a con, then a pro, then a con, kind of like that. So yeah, let's just get started. I've said that like 5 times already. So my first pro is that there's so much to explore and it suits every type of gameplay. I think that's something I'm really coming to realize, especially recently, that you can kind of make this game whatever suits you, because there's obviously like a collector's side where you could try and get every item of clothing, every wand handle, everything that you can put in your room of requirement game, every coin, every, you know, you can try and collect everything. I have heard some people have done it already. I think that's a pretty amazing feat. There's no way I would be able to do something like that. On top of that, you know, if you're really into like your fighting and your strategy and that kind of thing, getting more into that kind of area of gameplay, I guess, then, you know, there's again so much to explore. Not only is there the main quest, but you can obviously go off and like try and find like goblins and, you know, poachers and stuff like that. So you can always find a way to be fighting somebody if that's what you want to do. There's the whole herbology potions aspect of it as well, which is probably my least favorite part, but I know some people love these kind of games where, you know, you've got to try and get the ingredients together to make your potions and your plants and things like that. Not my cup of tea, but definitely some people's cup of tea. And then there's also like obviously interior design, which I'm loving as a Sims player. I've just unlocked my room of requirement and I'm loving decorating it. I've made everything pink. It's so cool. So that's definitely a huge part of it for me. And lastly, exploration, which kind of covers a lot of them, but just being able to explore, walking around an open world game is pretty cool. And I know there's some people that that's all they want, really. This is really my first open world game, so it's certainly overwhelming, which we'll get to in a minute. But I think that's a really important first pro, is that I think this game is going to appeal to so many different people, no matter their gaming experience, gaming style. You know, you can kind of fit the game around whatever it is that you're interested in and just make sure that you're focusing on those bits more than the other bits. My first con is that I do think that the general like overall plot is maybe a little bit weak. Again, I'm sure all these cons, some people are going to disagree. That's totally fine. In fact, I'd love to know in the comments. Maybe you disagree with some of my pros. I don't know. But I do think the overall plot is not needed. Like, the fact that you're coming in as a 5th year, I just find a little odd. I get why they wouldn't have you come in as a 1st year, because then they've got to deal with the fact that you're so young. But coming in as a 5th year just seems a little bit strange. On top of that, obviously, you've got this whole plot about you being involved in ancient magic and goblins, the Goblin Rebellion and stuff, which is a cool little Easter egg to obviously the books where they're learning about the Goblin Rebellion. But I just don't think it's necessary. And anytime I have to do a quest to further that plot, I'm just like, oh, let's just get this over and done with so I can go back to my side quests and things like that. And again, depending on your game style, you know, some people will completely disagree with me, but I just think it's unnecessary. I think you don't need your main character to be like the chosen one. You've already got Harry Potter in the future as a chosen one. I don't think you have to play a person that's got something special about them. Like, everyone's character has, you know, access to this ancient magic and they're chosen and they're special and things like that. I'm just like, I don't need this. I'm more than happy. I think most people would be more than happy for their student, their playable character, to just be a regular student, just living life in Hogwarts. And I wish they'd maybe focus a little bit more on that and had less of like an overall plot, or an overall plot that really is just about life in Hogwarts. Maybe there is something going on in Hogwarts and you've decided that you're going to help, but I think having the character be like a special chosen one, I've said that so many times now, I just think it's really unnecessary, and I kind of wish they'd maybe gone in a slightly different direction with that. Another advantage I have is kind of an advantage that doesn't exist yet, but I'm assuming probably will in the future, which is the amount of DLC opportunities, which is downloadable content. So things that can come in the future you can download into your game to kind of change it and expand it. So for example, I'm pretty sure there's going to be some kind of holiday pack around Halloween or Christmas where you can add way more stuff to your room of requirement. I know there's already a Christmas tree and pumpkins available in there, but I think they could do so much more. You know, the castle can change to kind of fit with the season. On top of that, a Quidditch DLC, I could definitely see where they actually do add in Quidditch matches. And what was my third idea? Yes, subject specific ones. So, you know, it kind of seems like when everyone's playing, there's subjects that they maybe feel more attuned to. Like for me so far, I much prefer things like Defense Against the Dark Arts over potions and herbology. So you could maybe have a Defense Against the Dark Arts expansion pack where there's more classes and things like that you can do. So I think there's a lot of opportunities there, and I'm really excited, and I would definitely buy DLCs that were coming out. Another con, people are really going to disagree with me on this one. It's hard to say it's a con, but for me it is. And that's that the open world aspect is really, really overwhelming. Now, don't get me wrong, they've done an amazing job, and I do feel bad putting this as a con, but I'm speaking again as like a regular gamer. Do you know what I mean? You know, or a regular non-gamer, I should say. Someone who's picked up a game for the first time in a really long time because they love Harry Potter and they want to play a Harry Potter game. And it's a lot to take in. And I've written here, there's too much to explore, which obviously leads to really, really good replay factor. You know, once I finish doing my story, however long it takes me, I'm going to go back and do it again, 100%, and maybe, you know, focus on different things. But it's really confusing as someone who's not an expert gamer to know what I should be focusing on. Like, anytime I go off and do side quests and think I'm just going to spend a bit of time exploring, buying things, just seeing what's around, I then start to panic because I'm not progressing the main plot quick enough, and then tasks are rolling in and rolling in and rolling in. I'm like, oh my god, okay, I need to do that, even though what I want to do is do more exploring. Similarly, if I focus on the main quests, the main tasks, I then feel like I'm not really getting the most out of the game because I'm not really getting to explore anywhere, because a lot of the tasks do all take place in the same locations. Maybe that's a me thing, maybe that's my anxiety, maybe it's the fact that I don't play many games. I know there's going to be plenty that love the open world aspect, and so do I. It's just so huge. It could be a bit overwhelming, especially because I tried to avoid watching other people play when I first started playing because I just wanted to see, you know, naturally where I would go. And eventually I did just have to sit down and start watching people play on YouTube, on TikTok, things like that, to be like, okay, where should I be focusing my attention? And I still don't know, but I think I'm getting a better balance of that. So maybe in my second replay, I won't feel this way. A major pro is the attention to detail in these games. It's amazing. Hogwarts itself is chef's kiss. It looks so good. It's exactly like I imagine Hogwarts would look back then. They've taken certain liberties from the books and the films, added stuff that wasn't there. You know, there's a couple of things I've pointed out in my gameplay series that maybe don't canonically make sense, but you know, I don't care. They've done such a good job with it. You can tell it's made by fans. There's so many Easter eggs in the background and stuff that are mentioned in the books and the films, and there's a TikTok account as well. If you've come across it, I can't remember their name. I'm not following them, but I come come across them quite a lot on my For You page, and what they'll do is read sections of the Harry Potter books that describe parts of the castle, and their character will walk around it, and I mean it's dead on, like everything's exactly where it's described in the book. So they must have really gone through with a fine-tooth comb, and I really appreciate, as a fan, that attention to detail. I've probably left my main con for last, and if you've watched my gameplay series, this will not be a surprise to you, but I do think the writing, like the dialogue writing, is really weak. And I'm not talking about, you know, the Floo powder lady constantly saying the same things, like whatever. I mean, like when you're having dialogue options with people to further the main plot. So when you're talking to, is it it's not Professor Fig, but it's something like that, the main guy who came to Hogwarts with you, and a lot of the professors who are setting you the main plot quests, I can't stand the writing. They talk so slowly. First of all, everyone in the whole game talks like a third of the speed that a normal person would talk, and on top of that, they repeat the same sentences over and over and over again. So let's say that you're empty, you've got no quest, no tasks to do. You get one assigned to you that's part of the main plot. Perfect. So you'll have a cutscene dialogue where someone explains to you, this is what you need to do, this is how you need to do it, and this is what it's going to achieve, right? Perfect. Off you go. Then about halfway through the task, you'll have to go back to the person at some point, or bring another person in. Maybe you need to go speak to a professor and tell them about your task so they can help. And you'll go through the same thing again, where you tell them what the task is, what you need to do, what you're going to achieve, blah, blah, blah. Then at the end of the task, you'll go back to the same professor, and they will once again tell you, here's what you were doing, here's how you did it, and here's what you have now achieved. And it just gets really, really repetitive. And anytime I enter a cutscene and I know it's going to have a conversation like that, I just wish there was a skip option or a fast forward option, because, oh, my hair's really annoying me, because it's so boring and it really interrupts the flow of the game, especially if you do have quite a lot of things you want to go get done and you just want to get this task finished, and you have to listen to something you've already heard like 4 or 5 times by now. And I do feel like it's maybe just a way to kind of stretch the game and make it a bit longer, if I'm being perfectly honest. So that's definitely probably my biggest con of the game. I'm going to add in another con here because I want to end on a pro. Obviously, I won't go into too much detail, but obviously this game is spoiled a bit by the fact that by buying it, you're contributing money to someone who has such awful views, and views that completely go against my own views. And I definitely have felt guilty for buying the game. I've definitely, you know, there's an internal conflict in my head. I've bought it now, obviously, you know, that's the choice I made at the end of the day. And will I feel guilty about doing that? Absolutely. Am I still excited and enjoying the game? Yes, but I don't want to go into too much detail because I don't want this video to be about that, but it's certainly something you have to consider yourself, what your own personal views and how you want to go about it. But yeah, definitely something to consider there. But I want to end on a pro. That's why I did that one first. I want to end on a pro, which is just generally that this game is so much fun. I think that's the only way to describe it, even with these cons. And I really did have to like think hard to come up with most of these cons. It wasn't just like, oh, here's all the things I hate about it. Absolutely not. Thought of pros in 2 seconds, cons took ages. I am loving this game. I'm having so much fun with it. Yes, it's a bit overwhelming, but as I go through the game, I am getting my confidence with gaming a little bit, and I'm just really enjoying getting to explore, getting to feel like a Hogwarts student. I mean, how long have Harry Potter fans, particularly around my age and older, wanted something like this, where you just get to experience being a Hogwarts student, and we finally have it, which is absolutely amazing. I'm obsessed. It's so good. I can't wait for the game to expand. I can't wait to get further into the game, because I know in the grand scheme of things I'm still really, really early in the game, so can't wait to keep going with it. It's just a fantastic game. So yeah, that was my pros and cons list. Not a very long video today. I didn't feel the need to kind of stretch it out any further, but I would love to know your thoughts on the game as well, whether you're playing it yourself or watching people play, or whether you've decided to boycott the game entirely, or maybe you're just not interested in it. But I'd love to know your thoughts on that. But yeah, I'm having so much fun playing. If you are interested, please be sure to check out my gameplay series. It comes out twice a week, and then I've got my regular Sunday videos coming out as well. So lots of videos coming from me at the moment. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I really, really appreciate it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. All my social media links are down below, and I will see you next time. Bye!